Hello, and welcome to the Community IT Innovators Technology Topics Podcast, where we discuss nonprofit technology, cybersecurity, tech project implementation, strategic planning, and nonprofit IT careers. Find us at communityit.com.
Welcome, everyone, to the Community IT Innovators Technology Podcast. My name is Carolyn Woodard, and I'm the Outreach Director at Community IT, and I'm here today with Nura Aboki, who is going to talk to us a little bit about some of the most pressing issues that you see with our clients as a consultant, a strategic consultant. So, Nura.
Well, thank you, Carolyn. My name is Nura Aboki. I'm a senior consultant at Community IT. Been here for about 14 years, and really I've seen a variety of roles at Community IT, leading to the assistance that I provide to our clients in terms of IT planning, technology, architecting, sometimes even software selection, as well as technology assessment for our client. So I'm really happy to be here to shed some light on some of the issues that we see, some of the pressing questions that clients ask us about.
So what are the most pressing issues that you're seeing this year? Like, are there different things that are coming up, particularly now?
Yes, since I moved into this senior consulting role, I've been involved with mid-market size clients. They are mostly 100 staff or higher, and they may typically have an in-house IT team that I work with, and these clients do come with certain needs. And specifically what they've been asking for is IT policies and some directions around IT governance. Because they're large and they continue to grow, they have seen areas where without a policy, it will be very hard and difficult to govern. And for them to be able to maintain a certain standard across the entire organization, they will need to put together IT policies like acceptable use policies. It's one of the most important policy documents that they have requested. They are requesting us to help them develop. And in developing a policy is a partnership between us and them, and then looking at what the industry recommends in terms of standards and best practices. So to give you an example for acceptable use policy, it will be a document that has what to do and what not to do for that when you use their, for instance, device, meaning a laptop or a mobile device that they provide, and what software to install on the machine, what software not to install, what sites to go. If there are any screening of sites, they will inform you on that policy document. So many organizations actually don't have, or it's very old. It's part of a HR policy that has one paragraph that talks about technology. But with the advent and adoption of technology in our lives today, in our workplace, there's need for IT policies to have its own stack of documents that has pages and pages explaining the different areas that it concerns technology for that organization. So that's one of the key pressing requests that we've had, and organizations are so eager to get some of these policies up and running. I mentioned acceptable use policy, but business continuity plans and policies is something that the organizations are also thinking about, especially given that organizations are returning to a hybrid system. They want to be able to understand where are their weaknesses, how would they ensure operations if they're in a hybrid work environment. If the internet is down, for instance, in the head office, what should staff do? Is the infrastructure in the head office ready for that business continuity to occur, or do they have to rely on other things? So they're taking a deeper look at if they had a plan before, but most of organizations don't have a business continuity plan. So partnering with MSPs like IT and other technology partners that do have the experience will help organizations develop those IT policies.
So what would you, I'm fascinated because in every webinar that we do, we always talk about you need to have acceptable use policies, and business continuity policies are a good thing to have as well. So I'm really fascinated that some organizations, even large ones, don't have that, or like you said, it's very old. So it's pre-pandemic, pre-hybrid work. Just things have changed so much in the meantime. What would you say are the main reasons that those organizations don't update or have those policies? Like, what are the barriers that are keeping them from doing that?
Yes, that's also a question I ask myself. Why is this not happening? I mean, this is something that should be a priority for leadership at the organization, and it all comes back to leadership. Oftentimes organizations, especially in the non-profit sector, are focused on their mission, and they want to raise funds to help them achieve their mission. They want to get more donors. They're mission driven. So IT tends to fall behind. And there are times when the leaders themselves, even if they don't have a comprehensive understanding of how technology impacts their mission, they may not have a reason to partner with an IT organization or consultant or an MSP that would bring in their experience to help them understand technology and their technology needs better. So leadership seems to be one element that either does not invest time and resources to put these policies together, or does not understand the value that these policies would bring to the overall mission that they have at the organization. And there are times when organization says, I'm a nonprofit, I'm small. How am I going to be a target? Why should I worry about an IT security policy, for instance? Like, I'm not a target. It will be the big corporations that make a lot of money that should be targeted. But we've seen situations where, yes, the big corporation might be the ultimate target, but the smaller nonprofit organization, because they are lacking in the standards, it could be a conduit, an easy way for a bad actor to launch their attack to that larger organization, if I may use those words. So being vigilant and having leadership buy-in on the importance of technology to their mission is important. That's why getting a technology partner comes into play, because that technology partner may be able to bridge the gap. And larger organization, the mid-market, I've seen they have someone sitting that has experience in technology in the executive suite with the vice presidents or the chief executives of the organization, either in an advisory role, advising them on how to apply technology, how to think strategically with a technology mindset to have that competitive advantage and help them achieve their missions faster, quickly, more efficient. So those are the factors. I still will say leadership.
Well, and it seems like you mentioned a couple of issues that I just want to ask you a little bit more about because, for example, you said that often this policy lives under HR and like staff might read it, but given it to read on their first day and then they never look at it again. And I think often HR, like they don't consider themselves in charge of IT, and the IT as well don't consider themselves really part of HR. So then you have this gap of like, well, who's responsible for these policies that, staff need to know about? And I think a similar thing happens with like operations. So if your leadership is thinking of IT really as only a function of operations, like kind of in the old mindset of like, we have an office, the office needs to have lights, it needs to have electricity, it needs to have IT, kind of thinking of it just as operations and not as a strategic something that you invest in that, gives you more time to do your mission because you can be more efficient in the way you're handling your IT or finding opportunities in the way you can deliver your mission even. So I found that very interesting. So do you run into that of like this who's in charge kind of issue?
Yes, I've seen recently, I've seen a few of the mid-market clients have leadership structure challenges where, the operations director may have been responsible for operations and which includes IT, but it's the investments in IT are not actually made because IT is just seen as some sort of a utility there. We just pay the bill for the lights, and that's about it. So when it comes to decision making when there isn't a representative of the interests in investment in IT there, because are we paying the lights? Are we paying our internet? Those are if the internet isn't working, then we have a problem. So operations make sure the internet is working. But someone that is in this executive suite may ask more questions beyond just the internet being working. Do we have internet that is actually effective for our organization? Given the changes that we're going through, how are we going to maintain a network that is not just in one place, but everybody's computer is a network because they're working from a variety of locations? Some leader has to be asking those tough questions, or even if they are not asking it, they may be seeking advice from those that understand those tough questions and providing guidance. So that's those kind of conversations are not happening at that level. So organizations have partnered with us. We do an assessment and evaluation and look at their leadership structure and look at the gaps and help them restructure their teams to ensure that they have resources at all levels that guarantee success for the organization.
Well, I'm sure they're very lucky to have you consulting with them and helping them think through these leadership challenges of who owns IT and who owns those policies, as you said. So would that be your advice going forward if someone is listening to this podcast and thinking like, well, what's the first thing I need to think about in my mid-market sized organization? Figure out your policies?
Yes, figure out your policies, and I agree with you 100%. Who owns IT? And that person that owns IT, then if there's an individual or if it's a team, then those are the people that we want to understand their level or their maturity level of understanding IT. And that's sort of my next thing I wanted to share about, in this podcast. So, make sure you understand what your IT policies are. If there are none, then you want to look for a partner that will help you develop those IT policies. And the policies are usually at the top level where leaders help develop the policy. So knowing who is going to be owning IT will be a key factor there.
Are
Yes.
policies difficult to write? Like, it seems like there must be templates out there of like the sorts of things that everybody needs to have in their acceptable use policy.
Yes, there are several templates, organizations that have are charged with building standards. They do the research and development. They look at a variety of needs of corporations and different organizations. They have built standards and templates that would help develop. So we are not kind of building it from scratch. We are not reinventing the wheel. Already there are templates that one could reference, but we have to tailor it to meet the strategic objective of your organization, the mission of your organization, and ensuring that best practices are covered in that IT policy. So striking a balance between just taking a template and saying, we're going to adopt this without understanding the implication, the impact to staff, and how this policy, whether there will be adherence or how am I even going to enforce this policy? You need a partner that can help you tailor it to your needs.
Okay, last question, and it's maybe a loaded question. Do you have clients coming to you asking about AI policies?
Yes, so it's beginning, I would say maybe since the summer, we ran a webinar series around AI and clients. I was in a meeting and then this client, I was sharing my screen and suddenly the reminder popped up about, hey, prepare for a webinar on AI. So that triggered a question in that meeting and they asked, oh, do you have a template for us around AI governance? And the proliferation of AI, I think AI itself, it's been such a buzzword that it continues to grow. What we are seeing today is with our clients, majority of them have Microsoft 365 products. So Microsoft is pushing its Copilot technology solution that is right there and then for the workplace. The reason why I'm picking up Microsoft is because if your files are already in the Microsoft ecosystem, your emails are in the Microsoft ecosystem, research that you do is all saved within Microsoft systems, then the AI can help you organize and find things easily, and also provide some recommendations on who to interact with when you're looking to do a project or design a program. So it's continuous AI that the investment in AI has continued to grow, and organizations are seeing improvement in the models. In the past, maybe if you asked AI to rewrite a sentence for you, it may miss a thing or two, but now it's almost natural when you see it compose an email. It may be difficult for you to detect unless you know the writing of that individual, the person that usually writes, and you would understand their writing. But AI can nearly mimic the exact writing of anybody, if I could put it that way. So we're seeing the improvement, and clients are worried about not having a policy or governance that will guide the use of AI in the workplace. Someone can be asked to design a program and then they go on ChatGPT, one of the AI tools out there that's publicly available, do a search, or go on Google Bird, do a search, ask Google to put it together, not knowing that this is the intellectual property of another organization that was published on the web. So, and also AI has this weird thing that's happening. When I say weird, it actually hallucinates, meaning you ask AI to design a program for you. It may design it, but it may not use references that actually exist. It will make up things. And it will be so real, unless you fact check it, you may not even know that you're propagating false information or misinformation. So organizations are beginning to think of the impact to that as well. Two of my larger clients have asked for an AI policy, and something that Community IT is updating its own AI policy so it can be a template to be shared with organizations when they ask for it, or even bring it in proactively to have those conversations. Leaders are also concerned, like, okay, how can we leverage AI? That's another aspect of it. But internally, what is our AI policy for the use of AI? We want people to be productive, not to just automate things, but use it productively. And we want to make sure they're using it in the right way without causing harm to the organization or to themselves.
Yeah, so I'll put in a quick little plug that we are working on some content for January, February around AI policy templates. So hopefully we'll have something then. I think I've been poking around online too, and a lot of the templates that you can find are very generic. So we're going to hopefully have something to present fairly soon, because we are getting that question a lot. And I think it's kind of a question that's out there of how staff are using AI. And as you said, to not cause harm to your organization, but also there's such potential for AI to really create a lot of efficiencies. And again, like efficiencies in IT, efficiencies provided by AI, allow nonprofit organizations to do more of their mission. So I think it's just something that we're all going to be dealing with over the next year for sure. Well, thank you so much, Nura, for talking with me today about the most pressing questions you're hearing from your clients. And I really appreciate it. Thanks again.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Community IT does these free webinars and podcasts for our community, and we love sharing our knowledge and experience. If you have more questions or are having trouble with your IT at your nonprofit, please get in touch with us on our website, www.communityit.com, so we can start a conversation or schedule an assessment. Downloading any of our free resources there will get you signed up for our webinar reminders, and you can attend our next webinar in real time and ask our experts your own questions. If you love podcasts, please subscribe and leave us a rating to help others find this leadership resource for nonprofits.